Pulsar-23 by Soma. Next lesson on the bass module. So we're going to again work our way from the top to the bottom, going over every option. We have a little more than our bass drum. Again, to trigger the module, we can press the add button. We can connect a clock output into the trigger input. We can send a MIDI signal. Or we can use the looper, which we'll get into near the end. At the very top, we have this switch here that puts it in three different modes. We can use CV for control voltage. That's to the far left. In the center would be if we wanted to use MIDI. On the right, it's a percussive mode. For most of this, will be in CV mode. CVN lets you bring a CV signal for pitch. So we can have Eurorack CV coming in and then connect that into the CV input. Now we have a mod pin, which a little arrow going to shape and another mod going to warp. So for shape, this is how much CV is going to be used to control the shape. We're using our LFO, and that's just mimicking this with the LFO. Now let's do it with a warp. So, what is shape and warp? Our shape knob can be used to control the waveform when this is in pitch mode. If it was in the percussive mode, it controls the resonance and the harmonic changes. The warp knob controls the amount of the post oscillator wave shaper while it's in CV mode. So it's a wave shaper. In percussive mode, it's going to add some drive and cross modulation. Now we have our mod pin with a little arrow pointing to amount. So this is controlling how much of the input you're going to be allowing to modulate the frequency. So this can be any CV source. Let's use Shayoff. But just like our bass drum, the amount knob controls how much of the CV signal you allow to modulate this voice. Tuning, I think we get maybe about 5 octaves. Then we have our low pass filter and our frequency, LPF FR, low pass filter resonance. And then the mod pin here, again, another incoming for CV modulation of the frequency cutoff. Back to our trusty LFO. External input or output, input of the external signal, how much external signal is processed through the bass synthesis, and the signal is actually processed before the low pass filter. Output here is the output of this bass voice. For example, we can use this to send the output to our 1/4 inch jacks, so we'll say number 2. So then our second output back here can be used to go into maybe your audio interface, and you can use that to split every voice if you wanted to, record them independently, or maybe just send that voice to like an external pedal, an effect, whatever. We have volume control, effects knob is how much of this voice goes to our effects. We're on reverb, or delay. Envelope pin is the output of the attack and release envelope. Trigger pin, receive a trigger signal from our clock. And then our attack and release is our envelope control. Let's go a little slower. And our release. We have another Learn button. This is so we can map a MIDI signal to just this module. Then we have our looper section and our clock pin, again for clocking the loop, different from the trigger. So this clock can be used to reset the loop just for this voice. What I really like about the Pulsar is that some of these controls are the same across the 4 modules. You'll notice all 4 we have the same looper controls in the same area. Envelope, our attack and release. We have our triggers, enveloped out, volume and effects. This is the same across all 4 modules. For the looper, in case you missed the other ones, let's go over that. So the loop is controlled by our clock. We have tempo control here, and the flashing light shows our speed. The bright green is the start of the loop. Think of the loop as a circle. Whenever we go to record and we touch add, it's going to add it to that loop. If we want to delete, if you just press delete, it's only going to delete in that part of the loop, you press it. So if you want to erase the whole thing, hold delete for the duration of the entire loop. Now, if we record again, we go to play. Whenever we press add, it'll play it on top, but the loop does not get changed. If we press delete, it's going to mute the loop. It won't delete it as long as you're in play. As soon as we let go, the loop comes back on. Let's listen to some percussive elements. If you have any questions, let me know. Stay tuned for the rest.